Okay, I'd like to call the January meeting of the Public Safety Committee to order. Motion to approve last month's minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, privilege of the floor. Is there anyone here for privilege of the floor? Anybody here for privilege of the floor? Not seeing anyone, we'll move on to resolution number 1. Confirm appointments and reappointments, Chautauqua County Fire Advisory Board.
Terry,
Yeah.
James from County Exec's office told me he does those. Do you want Noel and I to do them since he's not here?
I'm sorry, what did you say, Bonnie?
So James from the County Exec, I talked with
Okay.
him today. He said he does those first two, but
Okay.
he's not here. Do you want Noel and I to come and
Yeah,
address those two?
why don't you?
Okay.
These are just routine, but
Yes.
if you would. Okay, Noel, Bonnie, yeah, just briefly go over these and what, I mean,
Yeah,
these
Noel-
are pretty standard. We've had them before, so if you would.
Noel Gutman, Director of Emergency Services.
Bonnie Peters, Principal, Emergency Services.
Yes.
So-
Go ahead, Bonnie.
So the first one is our Fire Advisory Board, and they are appointed by the different battalions. So they are reappointments or appointments as the battalions asked for.
And Bonnie, as far as you know, everybody's consented to be on the board?
We do know that for a fact,
I
yes.
got you. Okay.
What is
All
the
right.
term of office?
How
How long are they on the?
It's a one-year term.
One-year term, okay.
Committee, any other questions on this?
Nope.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay.
So the next one is the same. It is,
Well, let me read it
sorry.
first, Bonnie. Okay, the next one is proposed resolution number 2, confirm appointments and reappointments, Chautauqua County Emergency Medical Services Council. Go ahead.
sorry.
No problem.
So, the EMS council is a little different. They, go in different groups of people. So these are the appointments and reappointments for, the EMS council. And again, they all have agreed to be on the council.
In, to follow up on Tom's question, these are staggered terms or different terms?
So the group of people is staggered. This is the people who come up this time.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, 25 or 26, it looks like.
24 too.
Yeah. I think there's different years here, Bonnie, 24 through 26, it looks like.
That is true.
Okay.
So it depends on, it's not necessarily based on the person that is the term. It's based on, like, if they're filling somebody's term from before, then they may only have 1 year left in that term. If it's 2 years, it might be,
Whether it's a new appointment or a reappointment.
that's true.
Okay.
Yes.
Looks like a lot of new appointments.
Yeah.
A little more turnover this time than typical.
Any reason you think, why?
Just some people, life, job. Just,
Sure.
some people have been on there for a while and just said their time was up.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Committee, any other questions of Noel or Bonnie? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, number 3, reallocating salary grade for communications technician trainee, communications technician, senior communications technician, and communications system coordinator. Deb?
Good afternoon, Debbie Makowski, Director of HR. I need to point out a typo. The first resolved should say that the title of communications technician trainee. The title is correctly stated everywhere else in the proposed resolution. It's just that first.
Okay, and we'll just
Resolved.
treat it as a typo.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So the proposed resolution that you have before you is basically to reallocate the 4 communications titles that are very specific to the sheriff's department. The proposed upgrades would align the assigned grades so that those titles match their counterparts within the countywide IT department. I do know that the sheriff had proactively budgeted for these reallocations, so there's no impact to the approved 2024 budget.
And I think when we talked yesterday, you guys have actually been working on this for the past 6 months or so?
Probably longer, yes.
Okay,
Yes,
longer?
probably longer,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, committee, questions of Debbie on this?
What determined the jump 4 grades?
Basically, the existence of counterpart titles working on countywide IT functions that are similar but different.
So job duties?
Correct, correct. Yep, which is why all 4 of the titles are proposed to increase by exactly 4 grades. It would mirror those titles within the countywide IT department.
How did it get so far behind? It's probably unfair to ask you, but.
Yeah, that
That's
I'm not
quite a
sure.
jump.
From what I understand, this request has come to HR previously and was denied for various reasons. But I do think that the level of responsibility in the communications titles within the sheriff's department have changed, increased enough to now warrant this, the matching of the counterpart titles.
Okay, committee, any other questions of Debbie on this resolution? Deb, just one question. We talked yesterday. Did you have a chance to check with other counties just to see what they're doing?
Yes.
Are we doing something similar?
It depends on the county.
Okay, sure.
So there are some counties that are using same or similar titles within their sheriff's department.
Okay,
However, there are some counties that have outsourced this work.
okay.
And what they're seeing is increased costs and increased wait time for work orders. So in speaking with the sheriff, obviously that the outsourcing is not a route that he wants to take.
Yeah, well, it seems to me there'd be more coordination or closer coordination if it was in-house.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
Are all 4 of these positions currently filled?
Yes,
And they are accounted for in the 2024 budget.
correct, yes.
Okay, committee, any other questions of Debbie on this resolution? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. Okay. Okay, next we have authorized acceptance of funds from the Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance for the State Criminal Alien Assistance Program, SCAAP, for fiscal year 2023.
Riley Enlow, Fiscal Supervisor.
Marty.
So this resolution is a payment award from the Office of Justice Programs for the fiscal year 2023 for State Criminal Alien Assistance Program. It's basically to reimburse the jail for period 7/1/2021 to 9/30/2024. We've been receiving this award for many years.
In no local funds.
No local funds, nope, it's just a payment to us.
Okay.
It's not a grant. And it's already budgeted in the budget for 2024.
Committee, questions on this one? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, next, resolution, amend 2024 budget to implement the jail property packaging system project using funding from the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA.
So the property packaging system is basically a vacuum sealer with bags for inmates' property, and the inmates put the property in there. It's the packages are tamper-proof, and it limits the jail staff handling inmates' items. So they can't claim that there was theft or anything like that when the inmate leaves.
It's kind of a security thing.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
The packages are tamper-proof.
All right. Okay, committee, questions on this one?
What are we currently doing?
I'm sorry, I can't.
What are
hear
we
you.
currently doing for their items?
I believe they're just going in a room. I'm not really sure like what kind of bag they're going in. We do have a property room that the inmates' items are going in. I assume they're probably going in some kind of like Ziploc bag of some sort. Jen, do you know?
I don't,
Okay.
yeah, not really sure.
Is there a problem now with people accusing?
There has been a couple of inmates since I've been here since August that have said, oh, they were missing a watch or they were missing a cell phone or something from their property, and we couldn't prove that it was or wasn't with their property. So this will limit that. Then jail staff won't be touching any of their property whatsoever.
Don't they have
The
like
inmates
a
should be-
system where they would say, this is what your property is, sign for it? And then-
I'm sorry.
Wouldn't they have like a system when they come in, you have this, and this, and they sign it?
I am not 100% sure on that. Blake, do you know any more about?
No, I just know about the new.
Okay. I assumed it's booked in booking somewhere. I'm not exactly sure how they.
Oh.
That's right.
Here comes some assistance.
Todd Thomas, Assistant County Attorney. To address Mr. Proctor's question, yes, there is an inventory taken when someone is booked. The question then gets if it could be tampered with after the fact. This reduces the fact of claiming that an officer took something and changed the log, because it's not touched by the officer. It's inputted, sealed, and stays until the time the person is discharged.
Okay.
Okay.
Could it ever serve as evidence in a trial? Is that part of the I just wonder if that's part of the reason for.
Probably not. Well, you never say never. It's probably a question for Mr. Schmidt. There could be things that come into play with what is possessed. If there's a cell phone, they may need to get a warrant to open up the bag and then reseal it. There's some practical implications we haven't dealt with yet. But in the vast majority of cases, it will be sealed and saved until discharge from the facility.
Todd, this previous procedure that you just described, not based on firsthand knowledge, I hope.
I can either,
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just going to run. I'm not even going to say
No,
anything.
that's okay. Thanks for the explanation.
Thank you.
This is a improvement over our previous system.
Yes, an
Yeah,
improvement
okay.
over the previous system, and also limits jail staff coming in contact with any type of
Okay,
item that the inmate might bring in.
understood.
It eliminates any doubt that may come.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions, committee, on this one? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Okay, next, amend emergency services 2024 budget, 2024 eclipse preparedness.
Bill Gutman, Director of Emergency Services.
Corey Lymaster, Senior Communications Technician with the Sheriff's Office.
So this is a unique request. As we're all aware, on April 8th, Chautauqua County is in the path of totality for the total solar eclipse. This is going to be a once in our lifetime event for here in Chautauqua County. The next one's in 120 years. As part of my job, it's unfortunately I have to look for a lot of the negatives that might happen and prepare for the worst. And all implications with the eclipse is going to be a very, very busy day in our county and really a very busy weekend. So looking at all the different options and looking at some places, things that other places did, I'm coming to you with a list of a few items that I think will help us, for lack of a better term, weather the storm and be a little better prepared and get through the eclipse. The good side also is everything I'm asking for here is also it's not a one-time use. Everything this will extend the longevity of emergency services and being able to provide all sorts of different services going on. So it's not just a purchase for one event. It's really an investment in longevity for safety of the county. The first one, it says there, the Disasterland computer software. That's Disasterland's a computer software suite that we currently use. This would be extending our software coverage to help keep track of a lot of things going on during the event. That would improve our efficiency and how we plan on doing that. It's also one of my concerns, and I have no reason to believe this is going to happen. It's just I'm planning for it that it might. If this turns into a reimbursable type event with the state or FEMA, this software will help account for those expenses. And if there's a reimbursement down the road, and again, I don't know that there will be, I'm just planning that as a possibility, this software will help us do that.
No, quick question on this one. Would you have a future use for this software?
We're currently using it now and would have a future
Okay.
use for it as well.
All right.
This would be an enhancement to the software we have right now. Like many software suites, you buy package A, you get such, package B is such. We're looking to get some enhancements to what we already have with this too. Going down the list, additional EMS and mass casualty supplies. One of my planning aspects that our group is, unfortunately, we have to plan for bad things to happen to good people. And, I want to be prepared in some of our larger populous areas of the county by having a cache of EMS and MCI equipment to respond if there's an emergency that day and to supplement any type of emergency services that will be responding in that area. All that equipment would be able to be later used by our daily operations and stuff as well. The FirstNet Compact Rapid Deployable, that's why I have Corey here with me. I'm going to let him explain what this device is. He can do it a lot better than I can.
So the Compact Rapid Deployable is basically a portable cell tower. It fits on a regular trailer hitch, so any SUV or pickup truck can haul this. It can be fed with either an Ethernet cable from somewhere like a county building that has internet service, or it can run off of SIM cards off of the existing cell towers. And lastly, it also has a satellite dish on the top, so it can be a completely standalone cell site. And it provides Ethernet, internet access by Wi-Fi, by cable. So in the event that either we would have a cell phone tower outage within the county, like we had recently during last week's storm.
Would have used it last Tuesday.
This could have been deployed to help supplement the infrastructure that we have. It could also be used in the event that an internet connection for one of the county buildings, the EOC, or even our dispatch center, if the internet goes down and they lose access to different state applications, we can roll this right up to the dispatch center, plug into it, into this existing switch hardware that we already have, and have internet access for all those applications. It will also pass 911 cell phone calls to our dispatch center. So in the event that there's a cell phone tower that's out, it's not only gonna be being used by first responders, but it will be passing 911 calls from the public.
How wide of an area, like cell phones were out in Mayville last week, but
This, the device, as we have it spec'd out, has up to a 2-mile range. Excuse me. But there is additional capabilities that we're looking at possibly using some grant funding for communications, which will make that up to a 4-mile radius.
Where's it gonna be located?
It would,
It'll be stored at our office, and it could be, like what Corey said, it could be deployed on any vehicle that has a hitch in the back. And it's designed to fit through a standard 36-inch doorway, so if we had to deploy it to a rooftop of a business to get even better coverage with it, it's one person transportable and one person deployable.
it fits through a standard door, so we could bring it up here to the roof of the building and actually be able to supplement our coverage that we have.
This is something we were first introduced to at a meeting. John D'Angelo was there. He thinks it's a good idea to help back up our county IT side. I've talked with Dr. Falk. This is something that could help pop up health clinic sites. God forbid we deal with another pandemic type stuff where we do mobile testing. This is a device that could help support those functionalities. If we have some type of a critical incident with law enforcement, this could be brought in as a dedicated site for that. It could be if we had a board of elections. Every year, I work with the board of elections to look at backup emergency plans. So if we have connectivity issues at a board of election site, this is another resource we have that we can keep our continuity of government going that way, and continuity of operations.
so it can improve any of that?
So it will improve it, but in an area where we don't have coverage, it'll also be a standalone cell site.
Yeah.
So-
It's not meant for daily use. It's meant for, yeah, it's not meant for daily use to boost our productivity, but it's like everything in our business, it's meant to be used when something is going wrong.
But it will pass the phone traffic to the main infrastructure that we have now for the cell towers in the county. So it works hand in hand or as a standalone device.
So last week in Mayville, the phones went out, you said it could be 2 miles, possibly 4 miles. So then, within that radius,
So last week, we opened up our EOC because of the storm. I registered with the state that we were an operational EOC,
Yeah.
and during that event, our internet went down. And I lost our ability to communicate with the state via email and the state websites that I rely on. If we'd had this device, I would have been back up and running in a matter of minutes.
but ordinary citizens could use their cell phones within that.
For the most part, it's only gonna pass the 911 traffic from the public. The main prioritized users for this is first responders, which includes the health department, the highway department, emergency services.
Really meant to keep our government operations going.
I understand that.
Yep.
I was going down a
Yeah.
different path, wrong path.
But the public would benefit from it, from being able to, to ensure the 911 calls are still going through.
No, you mentioned the Board of Elections. So where would this possibly be deployed? Here in Mayville or at the polling sites?
If a polling site had a connectivity issue, let's say they had a need for connectivity and something went down,
Over in Finley Lake or something, they had a
could be
problem?
deployed anywhere in the county.
We have no issues.
Like I said, it's,
just use
this,
it
this
as
table
a-
is bigger than the device is. And it's one person transportable, one person deployable.
Okay.
And, with our office, it would have 24/7 accessibility to deploy it anywhere in the county as needed.
Gotcha.
I have a question. If you didn't get these things, how would you manage?
I would manage as I could without them. One of the things in emergency services is I am paid to plan for the what-ifs. And if we don't use any of this, that's actually a great thing. Everything in emergency services is you're planning for when something might go bad. And like I said, it's our job to consider the what-ifs and how do we deal with that. If these requests aren't granted, we'll hope for the best and move on. But it's our, you know, recommendation that, you know, this is some stuff that we can do to help ensure that our public services are efficient and available to everyone that might need them.
How did you manage last week when you didn't have, when you
I lost communications with the state,
you just didn't?
and I got all the emails and texts when this health system came back up the next day.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, it's an oddity that the county loses connectivity like that, so,
Yeah.
you know, that was, you know, but it was difficult to, all day long, I was in contact with the state via computer and the websites I have to utilize to check the state and push information out, and then that just went away, and I was, okay. I'll just,
Old school.
yeah, I went to paper and pencil to record our activities and just report, you know, check in with the state, the stuff I needed to do the next day, when the connectivity came back up.
Noel, you mentioned it'd be a great thing if we didn't have to use this stuff. Okay, and look, I get it. I've been a volunteer fireman and stuff in the past, but this is $200,000 that's coming out of the unassigned fund balance.
I am
okay?
very well aware of that, the gravity and the relevance of
Okay.
this request.
Okay, so that's why the committee is gonna have some questions on this,
I-
okay? And that's why we're gonna have a thorough discussion.
I fully
Okay.
expected that.
Gotcha. Okay.
And if I can share one more thing, we have had a few incidents just within this year of where this device would have been used. When we had the manhunt, we were assisting Warren County. We had a large state police presence staged at the Jamestown Airport. This device could have been put in at the airport, and it would have helped facilitate. They could have plugged IP phones into it. They could have used it to run their communications, their computers, for their command post.
You had some communications problems, Corey, with that manhunt?
We didn't, because the county itself has the infrastructure there at the airport.
Okay.
But the state police and the other agencies, the mutual aid that was coming in to assist with that,
Did
would have
have-
been able to access their systems.
Okay.
Correct.
Every incident I've ever been part of, whether it be a drill or real world, communications always is usually the number one issue of how things can be improved, or was the biggest stumbling block during the training evolution or the drill or the actual incident itself. And like I said, we're trying to identify ways to, you know, I hope that I'm wrong about the eclipse, about what I'm expecting our county to see that day. But I think we are going to see an extremely busy day, unlike we've ever seen before. And I think that the needs and the request of services for all first responders and all the municipal agencies and our businesses are going to skyrocket. And, you know, I'm trying to find ways to help mitigate some of those problems before they start.
Okay. Committee, any other questions on this portable cell tower? That's
Well,
on?
I guess my feeling is is it a nice to have or a need to have? Where does it
Is
fall?
a wish or is it
Yeah,
a need?
yeah, that's, if we've managed without it, I get what you're saying, and I hope April 8th comes and goes and there are no problems, but.
Well, a big thing with the communication side of things is so much more of it is going towards data. And, you know, having the internet connection and the network connection to where it's not just voice communications anymore. So we don't currently have this capability to support this. And it's definitely a gap that we have, and we talked to John D'Angelo to where this can actually benefit every county department. So.
Okay, folks, if there's no more questions on the cell tower, let's move on to the next paragraph, the message signs and.
So the last part there
and
is.
Flares, I guess.
One of the, you know, it's essentially the stuff to help control traffic. The variable message signs, 2 trailers and the 2 devices that'll plug onto existing trucks. One of our biggest issues that day will be traffic. I am extremely confident that we'll see traffic in this county that is just going to be unlike anything we've really ever seen before. That's all indications that show that with the hotel usage and the people coming in and the advertising and trying to bring people into our county. Traffic will be a large issue that day, and it'll be one of our biggest logistical challenges to try and work with. These devices will help try and, keep that traffic going in the right direction, try and, untangle the mess as we can. And, we're gonna have 42 fire departments. Every one of our law enforcement agencies out there is going to, in some way, shape, or form, be involved with traffic direction and directing traffic, no matter the time of day or the weather, is one of the most hazardous things any first responder can do. And, again, these are some devices that can hopefully help mitigate the risk to our people that are gonna be out there, working in that all that whole weekend and that day. I do realize, Mr. Nebel, the gravity and the relevance of this request. I do realize it's
$200,000.
it is. It's $200,000, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime event.
Understood.
And we don't
Understood.
get a do-over on this. We do not get to come back and say, well, next time, we'll do it this way. What we're doing, and when I say we, I mean every entity that's preparing for this eclipse in one way, shape, or another, whether it's a small sub shop or us, what we're doing now will be the blueprint in 40 years for other parts of the country and 120 years later when it comes back to Chautauqua County. So like I said, we don't get a do-over on it.
No, look, I appreciate that you and Corey are, you're looking forward, you're trying to prepare for this event. Our job here is to make sure you're prepared, but also we're interested in the costs involved too. Okay, that's where we're coming from.
Yep.
All right.
I
so-
fully understand that.
All right. So
And like I said,
supportive, but we got to look at the cost as well.
and that's why the cost you're looking at is less than the cost I originally wanted to submit to you.
Oh boy. Okay.
And
And very well aware of it. Everything comes down to dollars and cents. And that's, for one second, don't believe I was just looking for a wish list of items. If I was looking for a wish list of items, this would be about that thick of paper. This is the bare bone stuff that I really truly believe can help us in this event and, moving on in the future with all of our other events.
Do we have any of these message boards?
We have 2 of the trailers. I'd like, like I said, it's my intention, I've requested to get 2 more, and we've used them with great success. And I truly believe they're a life safety enhancer for our first responders out there.
No, how much do they cost?
The trailers, the trailers.
Message boards or whatever.
Yeah, what is this, message board or board and trailer?
So the request is for 2 of the trailers, which I believe are 24 apiece. I'd have to look at the exact, 24,000. Yes. And the message board is essentially the same board, but can be freestanding on a stand on the ground where we could put it, or it can be plugged into a trailer hitch on a vehicle. Again, that would give us 6 total because of the 2 we already have to be able to utilize within the county.
Oh, okay.
You got locations already pinpointed where you wanna put these, or?
I have rough ideas. They're very extremely quickly deployable, so they can be, if my plan changes by the needs of the traffic that day, it's a very easy change to make on the fly.
How often do we use the ones we have now?
Probably, several times a month for different aspects. They're been used a lot for pre-planned events more than they have for emergency events.
Like festivals and stuff like that?
Yeah, different functionalities and, different, like the Mayville 4th of July parade when we can get, not the parade, but the whole event that day, and we've used them for a lot of different events like that. And it's something that, again, would be available to the health department, to the sheriff's office, other law enforcement. So it's an asset that, it's a true shared service asset that we'd be able to put out.
We could use it for your birthday party over in Finley Lake, Marty,
Yeah,
this message board.
not enough light bulbs.
Committee, other questions of Noel and Corey on this resolution? Good question.
How many flares are you looking at?
I think it was about 20 or 30 cases.
And is there a shelf life for the flares? No?
As long as you keep them dry, they stay good for years.
Okay. And if we don't use those, we'll share them with the local fire departments?
We could, but yeah, I think
Okay.
our county fire police team, who's very active,
Okay,
haven't had any for a while. They used to have a source where they're able to get them pretty much at zero cost, and that source dried up. So this would be enhancing their safety, PPE for their job as they're responding out in the county.
How would you distribute them? I mean, to the fire departments or?
These would be with our county fire police team, and, if we determine some of those heavy access traffic points, and we'd pre-locate them, put caches of them around, so if we had to, roll into action, set up a traffic, area, we would have some in different pre-positioned areas.
Guys, one last question. Have you checked with the local police departments or the state highway department? Is there any chance that we can borrow some of these message boards or these trailers or vehicles? Can we get some from other places?
We can put in a request.
Or rent?
Or rent? I mean,
I have not looked into renting, but I have talked to the state, and a lot of those resources, remember, there's 29 counties in the state of 62 that are gonna be affected by this eclipse, who are all
Okay.
putting in requests. And the state has very politely said the urban areas of the state will be more heavily supported than the rural. They said, you can put in your request, we'll do what we can, but, our central urban areas will probably get a much more significant backing by the state on areas.
And we did look into that also for the CRD unit. So FirstNet does have deployable assets in New York State, but they do it on the same basis of where they take in the requests and then they prioritize them based on, the urban areas. So we did explore that option as well for this. So.
But you haven't looked into renting them?
I have not looked into renting them, no. These particular units I was looking at, I don't know that could be rented, but, the message boards, I could look into that, I just have not.
well, I think Noel, the concern is, this is a one-day event. Yes, it's a big event and it's important. We need to be prepared for it. But some of these costs are we're going to have this equipment long after this. And this is a big investment. So I think we need to explore some of these options to reduce the costs. That's just where I'm coming from. Okay. All right, committee, any other questions on this?
I have one, Mr. Chairman. Back to the medical supplies, is there expiration on any of those, is there medicines?
No, that would be more MCI type supplies,
Bandages and stuff like that?
Yeah, medicines wouldn't be part of this request, it'd be more of stuff to, more of a trauma-based assessment and MCI type stuff.
Okay. But is there expiration on that type of stuff?
Pretty much everything, but
I mean, everything.
a lot of that stuff we would be able to use in our other side of our operation.
Okay. Committee, any other questions on this resolution? I've got one last one.
Yeah.
No, okay, this request is for $194,000, almost $200,000 to come out of the unassigned fund balance. How did you come up with that? How did you decide on this funding?
On that number, or where the money was to come from?
No, not the number, to take it out of the unassigned fund balance.
I had asked the county executive, and he'd direct me to write it that way.
Okay. Did you guys talk about taking this out of, we have 3% tourism money, okay? And for this event, we're going to have, I don't know, 25, 50,000 people, tourists, coming into the.
I think that's an extremely low number.
Okay, well, however many. My point being, could this come out of the tourism funding? Was that discussed at any point?
It was not, I'm not familiar with that funding and how that is accessed. And I honestly, I don't know anything about that funding.
Okay. Or what about any of the excess ARPA funding that we might have?
I
Could it come,
I would be happy for the money to come from wherever you wish it to come from.
Well, no,
Point well made.
I mean, I just think there might be alternative sources where this money could come from. I guess at this point, I'd like to ask Jennifer, Jennifer, how much do we have in the 3%?
Reserve.
We have money in the 3% reserve fund?
We do.
Okay.
We have just over $633,000 in the 3% reserve right now.
Okay, is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is that the funding that we're going to use for the big chairs and the murals, the 3% reserve funding?
Yes, I believe so.
I think so too. What about ARPA funding? Do we have excess ARPA funding that could be used?
Blake can address that.
Yes, Blake.
We roughly have about 20,000 in the.
So the answer is, short answer is no?
Well, and as ARPA projects come to completion and potential refunds and kind of replenishing that fund as well, but.
But Blake, right, currently just 20,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
20,000, yeah.
All right. Is there any reason this funding couldn't come out of the 3% tourism money?
Is it eligible?
That's what, I don't know.
Yeah, that's-
Jen, do you know offhand, or Todd,
I-
would it be eligible? Could we take it out of the,
When it comes to the reserve, there's a lot that I'm not overly familiar with yet, so I really can't speak to that, but I could find out and let you know.
okay. Pierre, do you know offhand?
I wouldn't want to interpret the law sitting here
Okay.
without looking at it, but I think there's a chance that it could, Terry.
I'm just thinking that because
Supports.
this is tourism, we're going to have, I don't know how many thousand people coming into Chautauqua County. And it sounds to me like, we have an excess in this reserve fund, because we're looking for ways to spend it. This might be a good way to spend some of that money.
I agree.
3% reserve.
I agree.
So, guys, look, why don't you do this? Why don't you talk to the county executive, law department, finance, and see if this can come out of a different funding source rather than the unassigned fund balance, okay? I think we still have time to move this forward. Now, there's probably some, in order to order this, what is it,
The CRD.
your cell tower?
Less than 3 months or less.
Yeah, you probably have to order that. There's probably a time period.
They're estimating a 1 to 2 month turnaround from the
Okay.
time of order.
Okay, then,
And then
Corey-
we would have to have the training on the device, which is
Yeah.
a part of the cost
So-
as well.
So if we move ahead with this cell tower, Corey, I think we need to get this passed here in January.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we should put it off to February because we might not have enough
I think
time
it
to
would be
get it.
difficult to fulfill those orders.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking also, but let's explore these funding sources. Tomorrow's audit and control. If you could do this, well, I don't know now, but maybe tomorrow morning or afternoon. Well, no, it's audit and control is first
8:30.
thing.
8:30.
Yeah, okay.
We'll have the same
Well-
discussion in a few hours.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, see what you can do. I'm not in favor of taking this out of the unassigned fund balance unless we absolutely have to, okay? Committee, where are you coming from? Mark, what do you
I
think?
mean, I agree with you. I'd like to certainly explore the 3%, because I think that's applicable to that. And I'd hate to touch that. I mean, I'll vote to pass this on out of control and the meeting just to.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Just to try and explore more, I was very skeptical on the CRD, but the applications afterward, I'm a lot less skeptical now, so. But taking out the unassigned fund balance is the last resort to me.
Okay, Tom or Phil?
Yeah, I guess I would say that no doubt this would be an enhancement, but, yeah, the almost 200,000, I have trouble with that. I'd like to explore I didn't think about the possibility of taking it out of the 3%. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's a valid idea. I think we should look into that. I mean, as it is, I would vote no. So I think we should, let audit and control.
We're
take
looking
it
to
from here.
divide it up, partial from each one, or the full balance of coming out of one or the other?
Phil, I think I would look to have it come out of the 3% reserve if we
All of it.
can. But if not, we could divide it up. I think that's something that would be another discussion for audit and control tomorrow. Okay. But we will have to vote on this here this afternoon. Okay, so, all right. Anything else, committee of Knoll or Court? Okay. All right, those in favor of the motion as written?
Aye.
Those in favor of the
Aye.
motion? Okay,
Oh,
to take it out of the unassigned fund
But
balance?
we can just,
Well, we can vote this down here in public safety, and then let public, or audit and control address the funding tomorrow.
all right, yeah.
I believe, right, Olivia?
It's gonna go to
Audit and control regardless.
Regardless.
Okay. Okay, so those in favor of this resolution as written? Those opposed?
Aye.
Nay,
Opposed.
I'm opposed.
Okay. Guys, okay, as it is written, okay, with the funding source, the unassigned fund balance, this committee is voting no, but it will go to audit and control, and hopefully we can find a funding source for you. Hey, guys, look, you've put a lot of time and effort into this, we appreciate that, but we just need to find the right funding source, okay? Okay, all right. Thanks, Noel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Corey.
Make sure I get the rest of it here.
Okay, you're here for the next one, too?
Next two, I guess.
Okay. All right, next, accept Southern Tier Community Impact Grant.
Yeah, this was a grant that one of our lead CPR and Stop the Bleed instructors wrote to the Chautauqua Community Foundation. And this is a grant to purchase equipment to further those efforts of teaching. And this is I believe it's a 100% grant with no local share.
Okay, committee questions on this one? It's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. That was a lot easier than the last one.
Well, I won't bring ones like that last one to you very often, I promise.
No, you haven't,
Another
you
120
haven't.
years?
Okay, next, fiscal year 2023, hazardous materials emergency preparedness, HMEP grant program.
Yeah, this is another grant through the state. The planning grants are used to develop, improve, and implement emergency plans. There is an in-kind local match of $4,000, which is used, we meet that with personnel expenses. And it's just, permission to, accept the grant. This is pretty much an every year, I believe this is one of our every year grants.
Marty?
Okay, committee questions on this one? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Noel, thank you. And, look, we'll take this, the eclipse preparedness, resolution up tomorrow. You're not in control.
Yep, I'll be here.
I know you will. You always are. Thank you. Okay, is there anything else to come before the Public Safety Committee? Not hearing anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We're adjourned. Thank you.
So that whole 200,000 is on hold until tomorrow, whether it's gonna get approved. More likely it'll get approved, it's just a matter of where the funding's gonna come out.